Yeah, what up, YouTube? It's your boy Zai. You already know what time it is, man. But look, I wanted to get into this one thing that I've been seeing. I came across it on Instagram, and I don't necessarily know if it's a new or an old video. They talk as if it's new, but I'm not really sure whether it's new or not. It seems new, but I could be wrong. I'm hoping I'm wrong. But anyways, man, shout out to Too Grimy for radio, Too Grimy for TV. Hopefully I'll be having my podcast right back up again, Zai Vendetta TV, where I'm going to give you that real and invite people in there that actually got something real to talk about and not just bull. But, you know, it's yet to be determined. But hopefully soon I'll be back on track. But with that being said, man, I had came across a video, dude, and it was like one of that, you know, as usual, you always got these dudes that like to come on TV or social media and make the same. They get a little shine, and the first thing they do, not even shine, but they get a little 5 minutes of fame, and the first thing they do is they want to slander. Now, this particular video falls in line with that one dude that was from Compton that said all Southerners or Mexicanos have the right to snitch on black gang members, which it's been disproven multiple times, and I can go into scenarios where a lot of situations that have took place like that have came from the other side. But we're not to get on here and try to start beef amongst anybody, especially with all the stuff that's going on with the deportations and, you know, Mexican and Latino angst against the black community. We don't want to inflame anything, so I will find videos like that not only ludicrous, but they should just, you know, slide back from even speaking on certain things. And the whole reason I'm talking about it is because I look, and this dude is from I think the video is about the dudes from Playboy Gangsters, which is funny because don't the Playboy Gangsters have the homies right there too? Like you would expect, because the dude that I seen in the video, he didn't look old. So I would figure that one of his older homies would probably get at him, like, refrain from saying such things, especially if you fools are like this right there. Like, it makes no sense to put that out in the ether, especially knowing that there's a major discord amongst the, you know, certain Hispanics and certain blacks, because, you know, on one hand, these dudes feel like the blacks are not backing them up, and then you got some blacks that are, and then you got others that feel like that was something that we took care of in a vote, and you dropped the ball, and that nobody never stands with us, so why should we stand with you now if you overwhelmingly voted for a dude that was going to put you in a situation to where you had nothing coming. And like I said, that's on them. Everybody has the right to vote which way you want to go. Don't nobody determine on what you say. We all have our own minds. We can think the way we think. So ain't nobody can really fault you for that. But when it comes down to, in the scheme of things, when there's certain things like that taking place, and you know that there's a strong possibility that's going to affect your family, then you don't do it. A lot of people voted the other way because there were certain things that they were looking for, and they got them. And then some people, you know, voted in the hopes of being closer to, you know, certain skin complexions, and they found out the hard way that that's not necessarily true. And then you got people that, you know, tried to help, and they overwhelmingly went out and did these votes. But let me not go, man, because I'm starting to go down a rabbit hole of a past video that I did, like, probably yesterday. The whole thing is like, I don't understand why people continue to make this dumbass argument. Hispanics are not allowed to tell on blacks. It's just what it is. And if we were comparing the numbers, it would be overwhelmingly one-sided. I've been around long enough to know and seen it with my own eyes that there's a lot of things. Dude, I remember I was in High Desert. There was a dude on the yard that was he a Chester? No, he had two charges. He was a rapist and he was Chester. That dude had been on that yard 8 years. People been knew about him, but yet they didn't do nothing. They didn't do nothing to him until certain dudes stepped on the yard that weren't even from this fool's gang that decided to stand up and handle business. And you would think that something of that nature would take, a fool would get poked up over it, because if it came down to Hispanics and the homies, whites and, you know, others, like, fools are getting booked. Or even if they ran into the certain dudes, because I can't say everybody on that side don't handle their business, because I would never say that. I'm saying that this dude shouldn't have been on the yard 8 years before he got handled. And then the whole thing, when he did get handled, it was no more than a boo-bop. He got boo-bop off the yard, and not even bad. He wasn't even leaking. But the dude had a rape on his jacket and child molestation. So it was like one of those things, like you had to make it make sense. You're telling me that Hispanics have the right to tell on blacks. Your paperwork comes across, and we ain't going to get into all that. But at some point, when you first arrive to anywhere, people see what you're there for. If there's any shenanigans, your controlling case or whatever, it comes up, dude. Dudes speak on it. How many dudes have been in? You think if you come to jail with paperwork and you're from another race and you hand that paperwork to said individuals, it don't matter who it is, from that car, you have that paperwork to said individual, that it's going to circulate to the people and these certain dudes gone. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. But I've also been in positions and been in places to where, like Wayside, I won't even mention that one, but I've been other places where dudes are not supposed to be there. They got bad charges, and dudes are like, they got to go. Nah, that's my homeboy. Like, nah, F that. Like, that's the homeboy. He would never get out like that. Like, dude got paperwork. This is his name, blah, blah, age, blah. Nah, that ain't my homeboy. Knowing that it is. It's just they figure since he's from his hood that he shouldn't have to handle it. When everybody else is like, nah, this fool got to go. But dude's like, I'm not doing that. So solidarity forms around this dude. And what happens? The homie got to get off with everybody. And he ain't the only one to catch it. What they going to do is poke everything up around him, or at least rock until they get to him, and then he's gonna get it the worst. But everybody that safeguard him got handled, all because one dude was no good and these dudes wanted to protect him. You cannot get on social media and say all Hispanics are given the right, especially Southern gang members are given the right to snitch on blacks. Like, that's just ludicrous. I could say it a million times. Even the dudes that say it is literally regurgitated. The dude said his homeboy told him. His homeboy told him. Another fool quoting the 5 levels of, you know what I mean? These dudes start going into like Zen moments and all types of like stuff that makes no sense. This is regurgitated. I'm old, dog, and I know what's up, and I've been around, and I know what's up, and I know that for a fact. It's straight bull, because I've seen fools get ate up for far less. For far less. Even off the off chance that you might be one of them tattletales. Get ate up. Get off the yard, flatline. Yeah, fools, yard down. Usually when you see a yard down in prison, you know it's the homies doing their thing. Facts. 9 times out of 10, it's the homies doing their things. The Northerners, you know, when they're doing their whatever. But majority of the time when that yard goes down, it's either the whites or the homies doing their things. Fools are getting removed. And it's for a reason. Because there's zero tolerance on all that. There's zero tolerance, dog. Like, so, all I know, dog, that video is bull, and whoever your big homies is should tell you to take that down. Like, and it's funny because the people that are asking the question, they're asking it with the same intentions to get it cracking. They know that it's gonna inflame people when they see that video, and like anybody else, even if the video might be a little old, somebody's gonna see it, like myself, and I had to get on here and explain that that's bull. Like, it shouldn't take, you should just use common sense instead of like putting things out there, especially if you got real solidarity to the Hispanics that are around you, that you deal with on a daily, because hoods like that, they share spots, like they're right there with each other. So why would you say that? That's basically spitting in the dude's face that you sitting across eating with, because you on somebody's platform now, you want to sensationalize it in order to make it. When dudes ask questions like that, you got to tell them to hold up. Like, nah, like that's a myth that's been dispelled and disproven many times over, but dudes like to bring it up. Like, just keep it real. just keep it real. Like it hurts you to your soul when you either lose to one or when you know they're beyond you. Just keep that shit a buck, you know what I'm saying? Because to be honest, the fools that's really making videos like that, the ones that gave you your propaganda, really came from fools that was taking L's against the homies. It's just what it is. Like, there's always a backstory of why you lost a fade, why you lost that. It's ego. When you lose to somebody that you feel like you're greater than, as far as like physically, and you get your ass whooped, or your homies get smoked, or a gang that you may have thought that really couldn't contend with you, then like 5 or 6 of your homies get dropped in the first week, like, and then you realize that, hey, these fools are really with that function, and you start seeing that the homies you got behind you ain't really going to that level that these fools are going to. You start to think about it. So you gotta fabricate stories in order to make you. And the whole thing, the dude was talking about why Gear had lost their hood. I've known quite a few fools from Gear Gang. like I've known quite a few. Fools had lost, I ain't even get into why they lost their hood, but it is what it is. But fools are like, oh yeah, supposedly he heard it from somebody from Gear that told him that the 18s were snitching or whatever. Like, I'm not gonna get into all that, like, because it's really none of my business. My whole thing is to get on here and just tell fools, like, you gotta use common sense. Like, even if you're into it with one Hispanic hood, you know, there's levels to it. It's like somebody being into it with one neighborhood. You know what I mean? There's levels. They just gonna diss their hood. They ain't gonna diss all the neighborhoods unless them fools are all clicking up. Like, they gonna diss one hood, and it just goes like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like fools are not gonna diss all blacks because they into one black hood, and they're really not gonna get on camera and be like, oh yeah, F this, you know, and unless they're willing to go at it with everybody. It's just common sense. And when you share hoods with another Hispanic neighborhood, it's common sense not to mention certain things to make them look bad in any light, because then all you do is build that you know. I don't know. Some people just need to use common sense. But man, I don't even want to get into all this stupid gangbanging stuff. It don't make no sense to me, really. Like, I'm into it with who I'm into it with, which really ain't into it with nobody, but who I was into it with, I was into it with. Nowadays, it don't. Half the fools are either gone or they're old, and they ain't even out on the street no more. They got kids like me. It's like they ain't really tripping. But for the youngsters that's coming up, dude, don't believe this narrative, and don't put yourself in a position to where you can be pointed out as somebody that's trying to start something that don't need to be started. Because at the end of the day, the homies that you feel like is going to support you for the stupidity of putting out things like this will be the ones that'll turn on you to make an example. I'm sure you've seen it a few times in the pen. Dudes mess up and think their homies are going to ride for them, but they don't. They push them out there like, you know what, man, you got to go, because you about to start something on the yard that's got the potential to affect all of us, when it's just you want to be on that bull so you get got and get on your way. And then they be mad and be like on these S and Y yards talking about, yeah, you know, I got because of this. The homies are just power tripping. Nah, you did something stupid, and it's a reflection of your character. Now you got to go sit on these yards, and nobody want to deal with you except when you get out. And now it's on your hood whether they want to continue to deal with you in the first place. Is you got to be smart. People think stupid. You do stupid things, you get stupid, you know. It's just what it is. With that being said, I'm your boy Zod. I'm going to go ahead and get off this page because it makes absolutely no sense to continue it. I do got other videos coming, man. Be looking for that Zod Vendetta TV. Be looking up for Squabble TV. Well, Squabble Up TV. Be looking for any venture I got going. I just dropped that EP. Regret, no Purge, no regret. Go check that out. All social media platforms, all musical platforms. Go check it out, man. Regardless if you like me or not, like, go check it out, man. It's different because I did it. And I'm Big Zod. You already know. I'm out.